Ranking the best wide receiver abilities in Madden 23. We're back here updating my best abilities in Madden 23. Today we're going to be updating wide receiver abilities, and I'm not going to lie to you, my thoughts have actually changed a pretty good amount. Now this is more focused on Ultimate Team, but for you CFM guys out there, I do want to make a channel basically doing what I do for Ultimate Team, just with more of a focus on CFM. But I will be going over some of my favorite abilities for CFM and Ultimate Team in this video. Now right before I do go on ahead, get into the first ability, I do want to go ahead shout out the comment of the day. Now first off, we're going to do some, make it a little bit easier. In the F tier, I'm going to first off put everything like Homer, Indoor Baller. All these things do is just make it easier to get your X factor, and I don't really think that's too valuable. I'd rather have something that can impact the play every single down. So now that we got that out the way, next up is kind of like the running back abilities that I think are just kind of useless on a receiver. These include like Reach For It, Jukebox, Evasive, Spin Cycle, all these type of things, even Leapfrog. So while I like these abilities on running backs, on receivers I feel like it's kind of a waste. And now for the last thing we're adding into the F tier is going to be the stamina abilities like Recuperation, Second Wind, and also Energizer right here. And yeah, I just feel like these abilities aren't really like too useful on a receiver, so they're all just going to stay in F for me. Now the first ability we're going to cover is Wide Receiver Apprentice. This can give you every single hot route no matter where the wide receiver lines up. So in my opinion, this is going to be an S tier ability, especially in Ultimate Team, because you get people like Calvin Johnson that can get it for 1. If you're not running Howard Master, this is really valuable. And if you don't have Howard Master and CFM, this is also a great ability as well. Just gives you some extra hot routes. Now right after that, we got Matchup Nightmare. Matchup Nightmare for me is gonna go B or C. I like it. It's okay. By the way, if we're talking about tight ends, this ability takes a major jump into like S tier. But specifically on receivers, it's like a B tier ability. Why is it B tier? Well, let me explain. So you'll see it, you'll use it, it lights up everywhere. But in my opinion, I don't really think it like does too much. Like I don't really think you get a boost in route running. I also don't really think you get that big of a boost of catching. I feel like it lighting up is just like kind of like a visual glitch in the game. I feel like it's more like a placebo thing. And if you're using it, I feel like if you take it off and you throw the same exact things, like for instance, I thought with like bigger receivers like Brandon Marshall, having this on instead of Short and Elite led to them like agging better. But in my opinion, like I don't really think it does that. I think it's really just kind of like a visual thing. All right, now we got Mid Out Elite and Mid and Elite. I'm gonna be honest, I think these two are the worst of the in and out elites. I think a C tier spot for both of them is like fine. Don't really think you get a lot of value out of this. In my mind, I'm trying to think like, when would I want mid out or mid and elite over like short in or short out elite? And I seriously cannot think of a time where I'd want that. Maybe on like curl routes, but that's really it, because the sharp corners and all that stuff, short in and short out activate on. And right after that, we got Outside Apprentice. Outside Apprentice for me is going to be A tier. Really good apprentice ability. I like Outside Apprentice more than Slot Apprentice because I think the C route is probably the best route in the game in my opinion. And after that, we got Wide Receiver Playmaker. Wide Receiver Playmaker, I am not a big fan of it. I'm going to put it like C. For Ultimate Team specifically, not really good AP value. And also, I don't really think it does a great job of like beating man coverage. Like for instance, in like Madden 21, I believe, where it was a pretty heavy man coverage year at the start of the year, you would have a Wide Receiver Playmaker and you'd put him on a drag and just flip him the other way. He'd instantly cut back and it fried man coverage. Was also really good against zone as well, because like, again, just like trying to roll out, Playmaker that drag up field now was really good. But I just feel like with kind of like that next gen movement, this ability took a major hit. And right after that, we got Red Zone Threat. Red Zone Threat, in my opinion, is also going to be S tier. This is if you can get it for 1 AP, by the way, in Ultimate Team, because like getting a Harold Carmichael 1 AP Red Zone Threat, that gives you red zone offense. I think it's safe to say the red zone is the hardest place to score. And now we got Route Tech. So honestly, before some receivers came out, I was content with having Route Tech A, but Route Tech now recently, in my opinion, moved up into S, and this is like a top into S ability, I will say that. And give me Red Zone Threat over Wide Receiver Apprentice, given like the Howard Master and everything. Route Tech is amazing versus man coverage. It's really just the fact that like it was 3 AP. A lot of time it was hard to justify having a Route Tech on the field because it was just really high in AP cost. But now like the new Megatron, getting it for 2 AP, really good value, because you can essentially just guarantee like, hey, if I place this guy on someone that doesn't have inside shade, he should fry the man coverage. And now we got Runoff Elite. So Runoff Elite is very good versus the man coverage meta, not really too good versus zone. So that's really like, it has a direct counter. I'm gonna put it D tier. I'm gonna put it D tier. Here's why. Because when you run man versus you would think it's basically cheating, because I don't know if you guys have ever ran man versus like a really heavy runner, but a lot of times you'll see your corners like just back up all the way and like play the pass. It's like for Runoff Elite, it's like that, but the corners never turn around. Never turn around, and it's pretty glitchy. But again, it has a simple counter, just run zone coverage, and I know a lot of people are stubborn to the point where they're not going to run zone coverage, but that's why it's D tier for me. I see the point of it. If you're a runner, it's good for the meta. I just think it's too easy to counter. All right, now we got short in and short out elite. Both of these abilities are S tier. Short in elite is I would put it above route tech. Now short out elite, why is this moved up in the S tier for me? And I'd probably put it right there. So we'll talk about short in elite first. Short in elite, it's the hardest thing to explain because it activates on literally like everything. Can activate on C routes, can activate on deep corners, can activate on almost literally anything. And also you can get short in elite for like 0 AP on like Cooper Kupp and Steve Smith. It's probably the best ability in the game, and it also has some of the best value because you can't beat a 0 AP ability. Why is short out good? Let me paint a picture for you to kind of describe where this is good. Say you're on the left haster of the field. You're running trips. Having your trips on the right side of the field means your trips is on the wide side of the field. Having short out elite on your outside receiver in that trip set on the wide side of the field does what short in elite does. Like a lot of times, if you run trips, I've run into the problem where I'm like, why is my C route not working? Or this could also be true if you run bunch as well. Slap short in elite on it and started frying again. I think they did something to where they didn't change short in elite. I think for a while, short in elite literally activated on everything. I think they did a little something to it to make short out really good as well. And just a lot of people aren't running short out. I would highly recommend it if you're running a trips or a bunch set. And now we got slot apprentice. So slot apprentice, in my opinion, I'll also lob that in the A tier as well. I think it is a really good ability. For a while, I don't think the slot apprentice corner route beat man coverage. I think now that we have like higher route running people, it's actually starting to beat man coverage. You get a good crosser, and also you get the post as well. That is really nice. Also get a stop and go, which it's literally like first man coverage. It's a dice roll. Is it going to win? Is it not going to win? And now we got slotomatic. This is an ability that I think I went all the way backwards on. I was really high on it, and now it's like I'd put it B tier with Matchup Nightmare because I can't tell you what slot-o-matic really does, and I might be even being a little bit too generous with it because I used this on Keenan Allen for a while. Like I don't know what slot-o-matic did. It literally like never lit up. It would light up on the catch, but it wouldn't light up on the breaking of routes no matter what route I put him on. I think this ability is just not really good. I don't think it works. And now we got grab and go. Grab and go, if we could get it for 0 AP, it'd be good, but compared to all these other abilities, it's like a D tier one. It's really a luxury to have. It's just really not that great. It makes you be able to turn up the field like faster when you get rack catches. In my opinion, it basically gives you like human joystick on rack catches. And now we got Return Man. Return Man is this is a very interesting one. So we have to add a very specific tier for this because it's just a great ability to have. Like if they do kick off to your wide receiver, you can essentially break the first tackle every single time. And this is someone you would just stash as like your wide receiver 4, your wide receiver 5, and they're going to get some really nice returns for you. Now we got deep in and deep out elite. So deep in elite, I think isn't that good. I think it's like on this C tier level, but deep out elite, I'm actually really high on. Now that Moss gets, okay, I don't think it's as good as short in or short out elite. I'm going to put it as like the best ability in A, potentially could see it S. Moss getting it for 0 AP though, probably an S tier ability, but deep out elite is really good. When you're throwing the ags one-on-one on the sideline, it really helps. But also on like deep crossers, deep corner routes as well. Very nice to have. Gives you some really good sideline animations as well. And now for the last ability, we got Honorary Lineman. Honorary Lineman specifically on receivers, and I think it has a lot of potential, but I haven't seen really anyone use this a lot. I think it's better than Runoff Elite. Like I said, I think it has some crazy high potential. It's just like, I would prefer to have this on like a fullback. But yeah, y'all, this has been my thoughts on the wide receiver abilities in Madden 23. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. If you did enjoy the video though, maybe I taught you something about an ability you didn't know, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to see me play with some of these abilities live, check the links in the description, hit that Twitch with a follow. We've been grinding the streams over there, so I would appreciate that. Now, if you don't feel like heading over to Twitch right now, you guys want another video to watch, check this one out right here. I rank the best quarterback abilities in Madden 23.